The scenes in the heart of the devastated city were some of the most encouraging for months. Christians and Muslims, after 9 years of civil war, agreeing on a separation along the green line that has divided East and West Beirut during the violence. A separation that will allow Lebanese gendarmes to come between them and keep the peace. Everything went without a shot being fired. There were occasional explosions, but these were just the blowing up of old landmines and unexploded shells that got in the way of the operation. Just in case anybody living in the city heard the bangs and feared the old troubles were starting again, reassuring broadcasts came over the government and private radios. Announcers said, "Don't be afraid. You will hear similar explosions throughout the day as the troops clear the former confrontation lines." Some militiamen shook hands with old enemies before retreating to their appointed areas. Encouraged by the smooth progress, the president of Lebanon, Amin Gemayel, turned to the sensitive task of bringing the nation's warlords into a government of national unity. The trend is said to be towards a cabinet with equal numbers of Christians and Muslims, and with the warlords themselves sitting in as ministers of state. It's not often Lebanese gendarmes go on duty with a smile. The country is usually much too dangerous for that. But this time it's different. The men are going into what appears to be a safe zone, the corridor about a mile wide that will keep the warring factions apart. The divide between Christian and Muslim militias that's part of the latest peace moves in Lebanon. Agreed in spite of shooting and killing, almost up to the moment when the troops began to take their places. The buffer zone is intended to run down from the port of Beirut, through the city itself, the suburbs to the south, and into the Souk El Ghab hills, scene of some of the most intense fighting in the past. About 1,200 men will patrol the zone, and according to the Lebanese government, they're taking up positions without a hitch. Just a bit of scattered gunfire interrupted the first movements of troops. But in a land that has seen thousands die, that was dismissed out of hand. In charge of the soldiers will be retired army and police officers who've been chosen by both sides. And prominent in their white helmets, about 100 Lebanese and French observers who are watching to see that everybody sticks to the rules. The latest of Beirut's fragile ceasefire seems to be holding. There was some sniper fire, but for the observers manning the new buffer zone, things have been quiet. The zone is meant to keep the Muslim and Christian militias apart. For the moment, it is succeeding. That keeps the battered Lebanese army happy. It's likely to be some time before the armor can leave the rubble-filled streets and the soldiers can return to civilian life. But it's rare that a day passes without violent death striking somewhere in Lebanon. This car belonged to 3 Christian men. They were all from the same family. They died when they were attacked by a group of Druze militiamen. A Druze spokesman described the killing as a purely local matter. While yet more bodies were being laid out, the Muslims were talking. They want more say in the Christian-dominated government. They're likely to get it.